Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my review of Black Clover episode 164, and we're a little over 5 episodes away from the finale of Black Clover, the anime. And until then, we don't really know what the future holds. It's really up in the air with the anime. This arc is still ongoing in the manga right now, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the anime ties up with, if the arc actually wraps up within the next 5 chapters, or if it's still going to be ongoing, if the anime ends before the arc does, and we have to wait who knows how long. But it's going to be very interesting. One thing is definitely clear, is like the pacing of the fights, and I don't know if it was structured that way in the manga. I said this before, but the fights are super quick. We got 2 fights in this episode. Last episode we actually got Look taking down a Dark Disciple. Actually, that was great too. And by default, we actually got 3 battles, although technically I don't count the fight with Gaja and the Dark Disciple, because that was pretty much a wash and it was off screen anyway. But we actually got 2 major fights in this episode. And on top of that, we actually got the plot point of why the Dark Triad are out looking for the arcane stage level wizards here. So that was pretty big. That was actually the biggest point of the episode. But to me, just as important was the actual focus on these side characters. And I said this ever since the arc started. We need to see this. The handling of the side characters is one of Black Clover's strong suits, especially with the female cast. And if you look at the preview, it looks like we already know the female cast is already set. But when it comes to like how they're portrayed, other shonen out there. So that's pretty cool. Also, if you look at the preview, it looks like we're going to have a major fight between a bunch of girls. Also, we actually got Charmy versus Halbert. So that was pretty cool. So like I said, the handling of the female cast is in pretty much good hands here when it comes to Black Clover, when it comes to Tabata. So that's awesome to see. So we actually start off with after Yami, and I have to say, the attack last episode, the animation was great, but the attack landed by Yami, the Dimension Slash on Dante, was epic. But even with that, I have to say, even the lighting and the effects was great. So the Dimension Slash, they really highlighted just how strong Yami's gotten. But considering Dante isn't using his full 100% devil abilities yet, and considering the fact he just regenerated, it's not over. First off, speaking of which, we actually see Asta before his devil, and the devil's like, kill, just kill. But Asta can't move, so he's pretty much immobile at this point. But Yami's the target of Dante, so Dante regenerates, and then he brings up why they're so interested in Yami and Vengeance, is because they're looking to connect the human world and the underworld. And they're trying to grow a tree of clip-off, which I find very funny, because Dante having a plot point about a tree of clip-off, I think that's actually what the tree is called in Devil May Cry 5, so I think that's pretty funny. So I mean, you can call that coincidence if you want, but the main point is they need this tree to open up the underworld. They open up a way for the underworld to connect with the human world. Once that happens, it's just going to be filled with devils. So it's good, bad sight. It's going to be filled with malice. It still doesn't. Dante wants this. Or we did get a glimpse of what looks to be his past, where he's just like killing people and just like he calls the human world boring, the normal world boring. So maybe we'll get to learn more, especially with characters like Vanica and Xenon. We'll have to learn more about them too. And speaking of which, we actually do get. It looks like we're going to learn a little bit more next episode. But I also found it very interesting during the flashback. If you look very closely, like Dante kind of resembles Kira, the scale magic user. And we know Kira has somewhat of a role in this arc. He has an interest in this because of Asta, because he's the one literally, he's going to like execute Asta. He's going to convict Asta with his scales and like place him under execution if he doesn't get the job done with the devil. So I find that very interesting. Again, last time I said there was a lookalike of somebody, I got it wrong. But I'm just going to throw that out there. More importantly, Yami hears about this, so he's like, okay, I need to take you out, because this is bad. Also, I do want to point out, like with the handling and the focus of the side characters was great. That was great to see in this episode. We got to see Luck with his upgrade, take out that disciple. We also, by default, we also got Grey getting a moment where she actually saves Ghosh, and we actually come to find out there's actually a history between the two before they joined the Black Bulls, so that's pretty cool. But it just shows the spotlight of the side characters, and this is where we get one of the Dark Disciples that are attacking the forest, the bird in the forest. We actually see it's Halbert Cheval that's attacking, and she's the one that goes up against Charmy. We also find out that Petrov, the Spirit Guardians, they've been taken out, like, with the exception of Garja. These are the Dark Disciples, not the Dark members of the Dark Tribe. Lord only knows what Vanica's capable of. But this triggers Charmy because the food and the villages are pretty much the food's destroyed. The villages are pretty much in bad shape. So Charmy decides to go and like, yo, I'm not gonna let you go away with this. And we actually get the introduction that goes up against it, which is, like I said, the female caster's handling is great. The way it's just the way to display just how broken Charmy is when she gets serious. But I do like how Halbert was using her hair as a weapon. That was pretty cool. So Charmy brings up a sheep, and the two clash, and it's like actually a defensive battle at first, because while you have the sheep trying to punch, and this is pretty much a stalemate until Cheval reveals like her hair actually protects her, while like Charmy's sheep can't protect her up. So Halbert uses it as an opportunity to attack her, and actually slashes her. So that was pretty bad. I have to say I like her design, but her personality sucks because she's beautiful. She views she can just do whatever she wants. It's a shame that her personality doesn't match her beauty, but it usually comes back to bite you in the ass. And so does her hair, honestly. So Charmy actually gets serious because obviously, shut the hell up, you're not going to get away with this. She goes into a young adult form, so that's always great to see. We haven't seen that since the Alpha Reincarnation arc. And then after that, it's pretty much GG. But I do like how, even with the sheep transforming, we're going to have to prepare a new strategy. We're going to have to cook her instead of attacking her, because she's able to dodge the knife and fork attack. But then Charmy uses a giant bottle of pepper. It looks like a bottle of pepper to blind her. Even though that's wacky, it's a pretty smart move. And actually, it's a trope of eyesight being a focus in these two fights in this episode. Allows Charmy to come in, and I love how she just prepares Cheval's hair like she's mixing up a stir fry. You see the pan and everything, so it's like, oh, Halbert's getting terrified because Charmy's not even a devil, but yet she's using magic that's like out of this world, which she really is. She's, like I said, this episode displays just how broken she is when she gets serious. So that's always great to see. But she comes in with the attack. By the way she comes in, like the shading was great. She comes in with like Luffy with the Gomu Gatling, or like she was Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like instead of like being like Jotaro, like she's like la 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 la, and she's attacking. So she gets dealt with. And I like how Petrov is like, what kind of a monster have I woken here? So yeah, no time to celebrate, because it switches over to literally to another Dark Disciple taking on another trainee from the Clover Kingdom that was with the Heart Kingdom, and that's Leo. Leo, what we see in this fight's already got started, because Leo's been taking damage up the ass, because we actually find out the other Dark Disciple, Sephor Snile, who's able to read his opponent's moves by using multiple eyes. It kind of reminds me of Gaara, even though Gaara only uses the one eye from Naruto, but Snile uses multiple eyes to predict his opponent's moves, so they're all over the place. So Leo can't get a break in. He's getting tagged up all over the place, and he's also, while these eyes are locked onto his opponent, he's using these shells, these bullets made with mana to actually attack. So I thought that's actually pretty cool. This is actually a better fight because it actually had more strategy involved, as opposed to like Charmy just going in full force, just like attacking. Even though it was great to see, I like fights that have strategy involved. So he actually used the eyesight as Snarl was keeping his eyes on Leo, not knowing what he was up to. So he was able to put a giant array underneath him without him knowing. So he could launch a counter attack. And boy, that was a huge counter attack. That array was massive. So Snarl couldn't get away. He got his face burned, which actually gave away his position because he was screaming like a bitch. And then in comes Leo's like, oh, if you don't want to get hurt, you should be in the battlefield. So that was great. So Leo takes care of that Dark Disciple. Like I said, Gadget already took care of a Dark Disciple off screen. And then it cuts to the end of the episode. See Loropechica actually surveying on the Dark Disciples being taken care of. But there's a Dark Disciple actually storms into the place where Noelle and Mimosa and Loropechica and Undine are. And it's actually the underling that was actually infatuated with being stepped on by Vanica, which actually ties into the end of the episode. But I like how it's not Noelle or Loropechica, it's actually Mimosa that takes care of her. So, oh, we were prepared for you. Mimosa comes in with a sunflower, knocks him out. That was pretty cool. It's like, and she's the one that says, oh, you're pretty vile, disgusting, which is something that Vanica which said the last time we saw him. Like, oh, you're gross. So then speak of the devil, literally, in comes Vanica, and then and it's like, oh, Loropechica, how have you been? I'm here for you. And that's how the episode ends. And judging from the dialogue of the preview, it looks like Loropechica and Vanica have a connection. So that's going to be interesting to see. It also looks like Loropechica's actually going to fight Vanica, because if you look closely, she's like dressed up as a queen. So if that's the case, I've already said like Loropechica, I like her personality, so I kind of want to see what she could do in a fight. So that's pretty cool. We saw a glimpse of it against Asta and Nero, but here this is going to be a full major fight. So I can't wait to see that. We know Noelle versus Vanica is a lock, but that'd be kind of cool to see Loropechica in a fight. So this episode was great because of the focus on the side characters, and we get to learn finally what the real agenda is of the Dark Triad. Kind of makes me wonder why Vanica and Zenon, what kind of messed up upbringings they had in order to go along with this. But it doesn't matter. We'll find out pretty soon. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the review if you did. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Subscribe to our Black Clover. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.